Hey, what's up, everyone? Thank you for reaching out for the two things that most people are doing that are sabotaging their day every morning. The first thing is our bodies are 75 to 80% water. Now, I know a lot of people talk about this, so this is one of those things that kind of is just a reinforcement. So in the mornings, what we want to do is we want room temperature water. So I suggest setting it out the night before. We want to drink 8, 10, 12, preferably 12 ounces of water. What this is going to do is this is going to rehydrate our cells. So as we sleep, we don't often think about it, but as we sleep, we are dehydrating. We aren't ingesting any water, and our cells and our brains and everything else are continuing to move. Not at a high level like it normally would, but I also tell people, 90% of our healing occurs at night when we're sleeping. So if that healing's occurring, our bodies are using up this water. So we want to make sure that we get a good drink of water whenever we first wake up, before the coffee, before the energy drink, before the smoothies. Just good quality water that is room temperature, because hot and cold fluids can shock our systems. Our bodies don't assimilate it as well as it should, so we want it to be room temperature. That way our bodies can use that water appropriately and rehydrate our cells. And our brains also need it, so we want our brains to work at peak potential. And so instead of the coffee, instead of the energy drinks, that water can really supercharge your brain getting started. The second one, this is what most people don't talk about, and that is breathing. We think, I'm alive, I'm breathing constantly, so therefore I must be okay. But there is an intentional breathing. It's kind of a box style of breathing. And what you want to do is, and you want to make sure that your throat is a little bit constricted so you can actually hear the breath coming in. So instead of just being a quiet breath, like it's going to be. So I don't know if you can hear it, trucks and stuff going past, but it's not a grunt, but you could definitely hear almost not a wheeze, but there's a sound that happens in the back of the throat. I know I look a little ridiculous trying to accentuate it, but what we want to do is we're going to breathe in and out through our nose, and we want to feel our heartbeat. So, if you take your fingers along your throat there, you can start feeling your heartbeat, and figure out the speed at which your heart is beating. And then what we want to do is we want to go with a 4 count in to start. So you go in for 4, you're going to hold it for half of that. So hold for 2, breathe out for 4, hold for 2. So it's going to look like this. We really want to work on expanding our stomach, because we don't really breathe real well. A lot of us are breathing in our chest, and we really want to get that diaphragm to start expanding into our stomach. Our stomach should go out and in towards our spine whenever we're doing this. But we want to be able to work up to 8 and 4 seconds, 12 and 6 seconds, to where we're getting a lot of oxygen into our system. And that oxygen is going to cause our brain to start firing better. It's going to cause our cells to start vibrating better, oxygenating all those cells, the brain. And we don't think of deep breathing, but whenever you start breathing this deep breath, you're going to get some idea. It sounds weird, but you're going to get ideas, you're going to get thoughts, you're going to have this energy that you're ready to go and get through your day. So the second one, the breathing, actually I think is a lot more important, because we aren't breathing correctly. I have a lot of people in my office that they don't know how to breathe. Getting that stomach to expand, getting the diaphragm to drop down and really fill up those lungs. And so there's another way of breathing where you breathe in as much as you can. So, breathe in slow, you get to like 12, 13, 14 seconds. And then you breathe a little bit more, and that just helps expand those lungs a little bit more. It helps get some of that vitality into there. And so you can start expanding your lungs. And the more you can breathe, they've actually shown that that's is a good indicator of your vitality levels. So the more you can breathe, the more air you can get into your lungs, the more you're able to get the oxygen to the cells. But also, whenever we breathe out, that is also getting rid of a lot of those toxins and things that get built up into our cells and into our lungs. So we want to make sure that we are expelling as much as we can. And that way we can just have a better life, get really going in the morning. And that allows us to stop wasting our days with a slow start. All right, take care.